Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, I found this old hickory behind the stove. It's fine. I mean, it's not like I found it there from somebody else. It had fallen behind the stove and I hadn't retrieved it. So I picked it up, and of course it was rusty because it's carbon steel. And carbon steel, I think what I like about it a lot is nostalgia, mostly. I mean, it's a good steel most of the time. It just depends on, heat treatment and all that other stuff, but you have to maintain them. And this one, because I had a patina on it, I had mineral oil, but because it was behind, it's fallen down between the oven and the refrigerator, so there's a lot of condensation. And I'm in Texas anyway, so the humidity is pretty high anyway. So I haven't completely, fixed it and everything, but there are major, rust spots all through it. And so I mean, it's not a tutorial on it or anything how to do it, but I just knocked off the rust and everything, which took off a lot of the patina. And then I just recoated it. This time not in mineral oil. I used some Break Free CLP, I think. Just happened to be something I had in I got a little box, a little knife maintenance box. It's probably about, twice as tall, 3 times as tall as this. Just a little cardboard box that I got stuff that you would use to sharpen up knives and maintain them. I took that out, and it started reminding me of, this is why stainless steel is so popular, is because if you had have dropped a stainless steel knife back there, any, really kind of stainless steel knife, it would pretty much look like, it might have some gunk on it, but once you knock it off, bam, no pitting, no rusting and everything else. Now, that's no reason to abandon carbon steel, because a lot of memories come, back from stuff like this. It kind of reminds you, that you have to maintain your knife. And when you're sitting there, with a carbon steel knife, when you get to this point, it also gets you to check other things, like if you got any nicks or dings. You might not have noticed that, with it just depends on, your knife maintenance, how well you do that and stuff. But this is another thing is, the patina is kind of like scars, to me, this feels more like a human kind of steel than stainless steel, because the elements affect it. I mean, it takes some pits and damage. It develops a character much quicker than a stainless steel knife. Stainless steel, I mean, they could still get rust. They could still get marks and wear marks and everything else. I mean, they can develop their character of their on their own, but it's not the same as like carbon to me, because it's more subtle. It's more subtle with stainless steel. Carbon right away, that's that time I ate that apple, This is the time I butchered that deer, and I forgot that. Or this time I left it out in the backyard. In my case, this time it fell between the stove. And, when something happened, I thought, something fell down there, and I've got a bunch of spices up on the stove, and it's just a little tiny ledge, and it's about the width of the spice jar, so you got to be careful. And they're always falling down. And I figured it was one of those, and I didn't even look, but I was looking with my flashlight, and I saw it sitting there. Hey, I better retrieve that. But anyways, that's all I wanted to do. It's kind of a ramble about, carbon steel is nothing to discard just because it requires it. It kind of like with me, if you've got a carbon steel knife, since it requires a little bit more maintenance, you have to be a little bit more attentive about, your knife edge. Now, not all, I mean, this has got a very good coating on it and everything so far. Yeah, I know it adds to like the resistance feeling when you're cutting, but really this is all I got to maintain on this guy right here, because I left everything, factory on it, other than added these scales. I didn't want to. I like this little ring here, but this is carbon steel. It'll rust too. You know, I mean, given the right place. If you look at it, it really gets into a lot of times I found rust in the ant. You know, because it's been laser etched in there, and stuff will fall in there, moisture and everything. So I had to get a little pin and mess around in there to straighten it out. But yeah, to me, it just gives you like a closer connection with your knife. You know, it's just like any scar. You look at a scar and you go, I remember when I did that. I remember when that knife attacked me, or that cat attacked me, or something. You know, because you got scars to show it. And I think that's another thing, you know, with like the super tough steel, you know, yeah, it is a pain in the butt to have to sharpen a knife often, you know, like if you're doing something, if you're cutting a bunch of stuff and all of a sudden it gets dull. I mean, dull knives suck, man. It's really it just annoys the crap out of me. If I get a dull knife, I have to sharpen it. And it doesn't have to be razor sharp, but I mean, it just has to be sharp, you know, I mean, that's whatever I was cutting, it has to be able to do it with the same ease it was before. If it starts dragging, it's like, time to break out another knife or sharpen the crap out of this one. And since I got so many knives, a lot of times it's grab another knife, but I don't let them stay dull for very long, unless it's something that, you know, you don't need to sharpen it because it's a display knife or something like that. But for the most part, I like my knives to be sharp, and I don't mind knives showing a little character, you know. I mean, this, like I said, this could be taken off more, because you can see. And if you let it go too much, it's going to start pitting, you know. It's already pitting a little bit. But, I mean, you still got a lot of usable steel in here. It's nothing to... This is my do-anything knife. It's like a scraper. It's like a cutter. I really don't use it on food that much, so that's why I don't mind switching away from mineral oil. I've got another one just like it, but yeah, it's just a shame that everything, you know, or a lot of them, the majority of things seems to be stainless steel, and I can understand the appeal of it, you know, because it is convenient, it is nice, especially you go out hunting or something like that, you know, and it's been a downpour and everything, and you pull out your knife and you do your stuff, and right away you don't have to say, oh crap, I got to deal with this rust, I got to deal with this, and I got to deal with that. It's usually just ready to go. I like this one. This is where I had fun with the butane torch. But yeah, anyways, yeah, just a little, I hadn't been in it thinking about anything about knives or anything, but I'm supposed to get my payment from YouTube this month. It's like, for me, it's supposed to be on the 21st, but if you look at the terms and everything, it could be from the 21st to the 26th. So you really can't count. Really, for anybody trying to reach 1,000K, you know, good luck and everything. Alex Knives and such is one example. You know, he's almost there. So if any of my subs haven't, he has some pretty interesting knives. Him and his brother get a bunch of different knives and stuff, and it's a pretty cool channel, and I'd like to see people get up there. But my warning is anybody that's almost there or trying to approach there, that if you think you're gonna, I mean, you could strike it rich on YouTube and everything, but it's not something you can really count on. You know, it's nice to have and everything, a little extra money coming in, especially when you put a lot of time and effort into a channel. That's why I kind of like have been taking a break, because I went for like YouTube strong on my lock channel for like 3 or 4 years, and now I've got this channel, and I've been going, you know, putting out content pretty steady and everything, and I don't want to just put out content just to put out content, you know, and I'm not trying to live off this, but you know, I am retired. Social Security, you know how that goes. So, and I do appreciate, you know, any of the members and the viewers and all this other stuff. This is not like a call to, you know, send me a bunch of money and everything. I just wanted to warn anybody, you know, that's thinking about this, I don't want to take the wind out of your sails too. If you're willing to put the effort into it and do all the things that are required, you know, there's no time limit on it, you know. I mean, it's all in how much energy and effort you want to put into it. To me, this is a knife channel. You know, it's about knives mainly, but it can get into a lot of stuff. But it's mainly a knife channel, and I do it because I like knives. You know, I'm not doing it because I like money too. I mean, who doesn't? But you know, if you think that way approach to it, I think it kind of dehumanizes it a little bit after a while. You know, because you become a machine, or you gain a lot of sponsorships and stuff, and with it comes terms of sponsorship. You know, like oh, you liked all these different brands of knives? Well, you're only going to be able to talk about our brand of knife from now on. But you're going to be our guy, our sponsor. Well, if that's what you were approaching it for, if you wanted to make money, then fine. But if you're putting a channel out because you want it to express your love of knives or whatever, and it turns into love of money, hey, that, you know, I'm not criticizing you on this, you know. You go for it if you want, you know. That's just not my approach on it, is all I'm saying. And if you have an approach like that, then anything that you do get, you're happy for, you know. I mean, I don't know. Look at what we're about to have, our first trillionaire. You know, like billionaire wasn't enough, but we're about to approach our first trillionaire, and they're egomaniacs, every one of them. They think they're the greatest thing since buttered toast, and they're just a person, you know. A lot of times these people didn't do anything by, you know, hard work, physical work, or anything else. They knew people, or they had connections, you know. Sometimes they're innovative, you know, they were at the right place at the right time and they struck, but I think you lose part of humanity if you're chasing after money all the time, you know. It takes the joy out of it. Anytime you take a hobby that you like and you try to make it into a business, I guarantee you're not going to like that as a hobby anymore, you know. You take anything you like, oh, I really like making sweaters. They're really, it relaxes me. It's so much fun to sit there and knit. All right, turn it into where you got to churn out this type. Well, I don't like that color. Hey, customer wants it. You know, you want to make money? Do it. Get in there and start knitting. You know, and now you're not doing it for fun. You're doing it because you have to. You know, it's a job. It's work. You know, I mean, it's one of those 4-letter words. You know. That's why it's a 4-letter word, because you do it because you have to, not necessarily because you want to. And that's not the definition of a hobby or enjoyment in my mind, you know. When you start, you like reloading, start reloading for a business or making it for whatever, you know. I've done that before, and it takes the fun out of it. It really does. Because now it's just like, I'd never load that much in this, or I'd never do this or that, I'd never use this type of bullet. You do whatever the customer tells you to make it, you know, and be happy with it. Be happy that you get paid. So, yeah, I guess that's my whole approach of it is, don't write off carbon steel because it changes color and it shows character. You know, the less you take care of it, the more it's going to show. The less you take care of it. I mean, you can keep one almost brand new if it's your only knife and you're always, you know, constantly watching it. But things happen, you know. Anyways, yeah, sorry to ramble on like this, but I haven't done a rambling video in a while. I just felt like it. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.